sana. And now let's focus on what's happening and on the Viewpoint today. Let's try to understand much about Honorable Anne Waiguru. That's the governor of Kirinyaga County. Yesterday, she did come from the Jubilee Party to UDA. She has been a staunch supporter of the president as well as the Jubilee Party, and lately she was a staunch supporter of the BBI process. And they say that in politics anything is possible, and your yesterday's nemesis could be a today's friend. And that is what we want to discuss today. I'm joined by two able gentlemen to help me to drive that agenda. One is Hamisi Mboga, who is joining me via Zoom, all of them actually via Zoom. Hamisi Mboga, good morning and good to have you.
Good morning. How are you today?
I'm doing great, and you see that on that plate is Wakili Ken Amondi, who is also joining me from Kisumu. Ken Amondi, good morning.
Morning, Victor. How are you?
Fantastic. How is Europe doing?
Europe is fine. The weather is cool. Just enjoying fish. Everything is okay. We are not complaining.
You make me feel so jealous. Share some with a brother.
Sure. We are always ready. We are always so welcoming down here.
Okay. So, gentlemen, let's just get straight into it and understand. Yesterday, we all know what happened at the DP's current residence in Nairobi. The governor did come from Jubilee Party and went to the UDA. Of course, there's been a lot of speculation on that move, but she says that the move was necessitated by that advice from her son and her mother. Let me start with you, Wakili. What do you make of that?
I think as to if the move was strategic or otherwise, time will tell. Of course, the intimated that he would be moving to the UDA, citing the position in the ground, which of course for quite some time has been taken to be UDA zone. Of course, in the last 3 or so weeks, we've seen some moves being made in the ground, particularly by the former minister, which tended to demonstrate that with the time there may be some shift, some change in the ground. However, of course, and that's why I'm saying that time will tell. I can answer that question looking at it from 2 perspectives, positive and negative. Positive in the sense that you will realize that the position from the word go has always been, and I'm talking of the proponents of the Prime Minister's moves in the Mount Kenya region, that look, Raila Odinga does not necessarily need all the Mount Kenya votes, and that probably 30%, 40% or thereabouts, and he'll be good to go because he already has a substantial part of the country behind him. So that narrative, you realize, would sell so easily for those whose interest is purely for, positions, those who are positioning themselves from within the national political arena. However, for a person who is positioning himself within local scene, I mean, you want to be a governor, a senator, a member of parliament, remember, what will determine whether you'll make it or not is the, first past the post, majority rule in the ground. So that for a politician who has fixed his mind, not his or her mind, not in the national level, but at the county level, then it would mean that party that you are sure is popular in the ground. So that might have informed the decision that Governor Waiguru. However, of course, like you said, we still have around 11 months to the election. I mean, still too early to tell how the ground in the mountain will shift, given the forays that have been done so far by the handshake for the last around 1 month when they started moving. So that to that extent, the jury remains as to if the move that she took if really done that time. Yes.
Okay, allow me to understand this. When you look at the now and her decamping from the ruling Jubilee Party and now to the UDA, what kind of ramification would that have on her political career?
I think it depends on the position in the ground, because assuming that the position after the elections August 2022 will be the East Party in the ground, then of course they will have made the right decision, given the fact that we hope, or rather I believe, she will be defending her position as the governor of Kirinyaga. Yeah. However, it will be a different thing if the position in the ground will shift, maybe in the next 3, 4, or 5 months, so that she will be forced again to flip-flop and move according to what the people are saying in the ground. Something which will also cause her to shift ground and therefore seem to be a flippy-floppy politician, someone who does not really have a stance. That is that she has taken. So that if things remain as she has predicted, then I think that will pay off. However, if the ground shifts, then she finds herself in a very precarious position.
To bring Hamisi Mboga here. Hamisi, we all saw what happened yesterday, and nobody expected that move. But yes, it has happened, and in politics, anything is possible. It's a cliche statement that we usually make. It happened. What do you make of that, Hamisi?
Thank you, Victor. My perception goes beyond the advice from the mother and the son to move to a different party. As a very senior politician and a senior government officer of the caliber of the governor or our governor,
yes,
there must be something more deeper. For the last few months, not even few months, from last year, all the time, sometimes if you listen, because we really watch, we listen to the governor, he said, somebody is after me, somebody is following me from the government. So there must be an element of the issues in the government, which we are not sure of right now. There must be an element on the ground, which we shall see, because politics is a very quick game. And then also the political arena has entered quite a number of very strong people. Madam Grichi, Madam Martha Karua, I'm hearing there are other senior people coming for that job. I think has created some elements of saying, can't I do something else? The third angle is it may be strategic. We have seen Madam Anne, even when it was so hot between Jubilee and ODM, she was the first of those people went to Laos to Baba. Anything can happen. I'm still opening the field. And I want to give you an example that the ground is shifting. Is not only shifting, is warming up. And the earlier you look for a cooler place, the better.
Yeah.
I also want to add that having a strategy can be even going to destroy your partner, your opponent in their own camp. I'm looking at this. If now Madam is already there, Madam Anne Waiguru is there, and Madam Grichi is there. You know, yesterday she was in Mombasa, and she's saying, it's okay, let's go ahead because I'm already prepared my ground. What happens when they meet in that same party and when they're doing the nomination? All these are scenarios like my colleague has said. Anything can happen. I can see her maybe making a projection. I can see her coming back, or going to even another party.
Yes,
if she still wants to be the governor of, then there are some things she must consider.
All right, when we come back, we are still going to continue that discussion. We need to understand more the dynamics of her political move, whether it was suicidal or it was just a political strategy on her candidature come 2022. Okay, let's take a break. When we come back, we are going to continue with that discussion. Stay with us. All right, and welcome back. I need you to get in touch with me. Let's have a conversation. Tell me what you think about Governor Anne Waiguru's move yesterday. Was it a political suicide, or was it just a political strategy to her candidature come 2022? With me to discuss this is Wakili Ken Amondi, joined me via Zoom from Kisumu, as well as our governance expert and political analyst. You have them. There you have them. Two gentlemen. That is Hamisi Mboga, also joining me via Zoom. Okay, Hamisi, you go. Before we took a break, are you explaining something? Just to continue from where we left. Question is, was her move a political suicide, or was it just a strategic move, politically speaking?
In politics, everything is possible, so I can say yes and no. I can say yes if things did not work properly. I can say no, maybe she has a number of strategies. She is a very senior political person, and with a lot of background. So maybe I'm still saying maybe it's strategy, a strategy of hitting the opponents from their own court, and then coming back home. In a war, you need to move forward, move backwards, move sideways, and find an opportunity to hit. So I think there must be a strategy, but all strategies have consequences, and that is the political consequences. If you say, I had her saying, I will listen to the people. In politics, I've done some practice. The people who say you go may not be all the people that want to go. And one time, somebody said, my people said this, and he was asked, have you done a census? Have you done an interview? Have you? So maybe more people may not want her to go, but a few people want her to go, and decision is yours. That's what we are saying, either suicide or a strategy to survive. So I still feel there is something beyond what we hear and beyond what we see that has gone wrong in Jubilee, that Madam Anne has decided to go there, either permanently or temporarily. My brother said, we are yet to see. We are a long way from next year, August. But I think there is something we must go deeper. Okay. And some of us will be really analyzing, watching the body moves, watching the language, and also immediately yesterday we had the women representative sending a birthday greetings to the president of Kenya. You please add 2+2 because it may not always be 4.
Yeah.
So we are saying, are we shifting? Madam Anne goes to UDA and Madam Grichi coming back to Jubilee because they were there all along. So this is an interesting thesis we should be able to write about.
Absolutely. Allow me to bring Ken here and just interrogate the same question to Ken. Ken, was it, so to speak, a good move, was it a political suicide for Governor Chudikam?
I think the defection of governor needs to be looked at from different perspectives. I think you look at it like this. Governor Waiguru is one of those ladies that has all along been primed, I think as far back from around a year ago, into probably a possible deputy president candidate, serious deputy president candidate in the country. And then comes the dicey situation right within Kirinyaga. Let us not forget, that in Kirinyaga you have the, other than the Girishis of this world, you have the question of the permanent secretary in the case of the president, who is a very instrumental person within the power structure as things stand now. And all indications are that this person and the governor do not get on well. So that in the context of the handshake, and even given who shall then next be, who shall be the running mate to, the handshake candidate, assuming the same will come from Mount Kenya, from within the Mount Kenya region, you realize that if you are in Governor Waiguru's shoes, then you start being uncomfortable because you have this feeling that the persons who are calling the shots somehow seem not to be gravitating towards your end. Yes. So that politically speaking, she may then have been forced to, move to the other arena just to find her footing, because her reasoning would then be that, look, if from within the national circles I'm losing ground, because at that level it's all about the guys who control the shots, making decisions and deciding it's Waiguru who is fit for this, then the next option that then remains for her is to move the ground where it's about popularity, it's about the common person. So that I want to believe informs some of the reasons that may have motivated her defection, because like the fellow panelist has said, there are moves that we may not know, but given given her body language and her pronouncements in the past 3 or so months, might have even this particular move.
All right. Let me bring in Hamisi here. Hamisi, let me just put it simple. What do you think, what kind of weight do you think Governor Waiguru will bring into the DP's political basket?
To UDA, or what weight will she remove from
the UDA? To the UDA.
UDA. Yes and no, but I think there is going to be a lot of friction. If you look at the faces, and let's look at the ladies and the gentlemen in UDA.
Yeah.
They may not be compatible with Anne's background, Anne's movement, because she's a very strong woman. She's going to claim a stake. And claiming a stake, people have already built houses and quarters and nyamachomas, and you are coming, there'll be that tension. So I want to really observe that tension between the actors in the UDA and also the leadership that Madam Anne is bringing. To the UDA, most of the noise makers, call them so, I'm sorry to say that, most of those people who speak so loudly, they use language that Madam Anne may not use. So there will be that difference about the language. Maybe that language will cool the system in UDA so that the people can start hearing them, because some of the people who are not even listening to them. When Oscar Suri speaks, it must be something negative. If Oscar speaks, but maybe Madam Anne is introducing a cool language, a mother language, a leadership language, so that people say, what is this UDA? And also, until now, some people have not understood the philosophy of bottom-up, the philosophy of hustlers. We need a teacher, we need a technical person to explain. Maybe from that angle, it's at the advantages. But from the other angle is she hitting back at some people in Jubilee, just to teach them a lesson? If you don't want me, I can go. Because she's a very strong lady politically and otherwise. So I think both, there is some advantage to you, but there's a disadvantage because the House is going to be reorganized. We are told that they had a private meeting first before that Photoshop. So people like to say, what did they discuss? Is she going to be the running mate? is she going to be given a ticket to run for the governorship in Kirinyaga, or what? There's a lot of stuff that we must go deeper to understand. But I still feel she will make a point wherever she goes. If she stays in Jubilee, there'll be a political statement, strong political statement. If she goes there, there'll be still. But some people will feel hot. The ground will be very hot. And this is the process I was just going to finish saying. If the ground is warming, you must get moving. But when you're on the beach, you can't move as fast as possible because that is sandy beach. You move. I think my brother knows. In Kisumu, if you are on the beach, don't run very fast because the sand is moving. You are moving and the sand is moving. So I think we are going to enjoy this political drama as we go along to the 2022 elections.
All right, let me bring in Wakili. She is coming at a time that the way Hamisi has correctly put it, a lot has happened, and the DP's party, the DP's wing has already gotten some structure and footing. So let me just ask you here, Wakili, that what are we going to make in terms of, is she going to bring some kind of weight or in the DP's basket? Wakili.
That's better.
Victor, could you just paraphrase again? I was
asking the same question I've asked Hamisi Mboga. What do you think she's going to bring to the DP's camp?
I think that by the mere fact that she has defected from the Jubilee wing, or rather the president's team, the DP's team, that alone is a huge political statement, notwithstanding how it will end, how it will turn out in the end of the day. It's just like, having the likes of Kimani Chungwa suddenly defecting to the handshake team. I mean, it gives some feel-good effect. It more or less boosts the morale of the UDA brigade. Of course, as to what will be the consequence, would it have any impact in the end of the day? I would say that one, time will tell, because like I earlier indicated, you realize that the movement of the handshake team within the Mount Kenya region has been slow and systematic. In fact, a serious move was just initiated around 3 weeks ago. And like I said, we still have around 9 months or thereabouts, which is a very huge, long time in terms of politics, and given the history, how we do our things in Kenya. So that I tend to think that we still have, time will tell the consequence of the same, the impact of the same, but politically speaking, in as much as from a personal standpoint, as Anne Waiguru, I still honestly believe that it was too early. It's too early to defect. But as to what value the same will add to the DP side, I think time will tell. Because remember, insofar as the handshake are concerned, it's as good as they have not even started making the moves. It's when they've started making the baby steps. Time is still on their side, so that I think we need to be properly analyzing the extent of the hold of the handshake team, maybe around February or thereabouts of 2022. It's too early. Yeah, I think it's too early.
Right. So, okay, let me just put it to you now. Could it be that she's now the DP's secret pick for the running mate come 2022?
One of the possibilities, because you see, for like I've said, Madam Waiguru is one of those persons who, from around a year ago, has always been spoken of as a potential candidate. Yeah? And is, of course, one of the leading faces of governance, female governance. Of course, she is forceful. You're talking of a person who, when she takes a move, she goes fully into it. We saw how she did it when she joined the Prime Minister, that is in propagating the BBI initiative at a time when, truth be told, the idea was not gelling so much within Central Province. I think is a person that is ordinarily a risk taker, go-getter, so that she could be one of the potential persons that the deputy president may have in mind. I mean, given the retinue of characters that the deputy president has, if you look at it from the Mount Kenya region, I think she automatically comes in as a leader in the pack. Yeah, so
okay. All right.
Just be one of the persons that
let me ask. Okay, let me ask Hamisi, from your own understanding, could we be now looking at the running mate to the deputy president as we speak, now that she has come to the team?
Yes, in fact, earlier when I was saying maybe it's a strategy and maybe it's realignment. If you look at the team now, it's a hustler team, and one of the things that the leadership, those people who are fighting for the presidency, the strongest, as far as we are told, is the Honorable Raila and Honorable Ruto. They need a running mate from a strong position, from a strong area, from a place where they can get votes. And Central has been highlighted. Everybody say, maybe my running mate will come from Central. So if you say you are William Ruto and you want a candidate for number 2 from Central, who? Is it Ndindi? Is it those others? You can see that they can pull all the votes across. So maybe she has been placed there for that purpose, and maybe she has put it on the plate. But she was also ready. The other people were also saying, if we get running mate, must be from Central, from the mountain. Who? The numbers are there, and in the mountain we have more people who can quickly and ably be the vice president or the running mate for candidates. But she was one of them. And we were counting a number: Eastern Mountain, Western Mountain. You can even have 5 with no problem as running mates. So I think that is a position. But on the other hand, I was saying,
right, all right. Let's just open it briefly and just ask, what are some of the numerical strength that Governor Waiguru would bring to the DP's team, if at all she is the preferred candidate as the running mate for the DP come next year?
Can I mention 2 or 3? One, she's a good organizer with financial muscles, with a lot of networks. You can see you need all those. If you want a running mate, you need somebody who can have those. She can mobilize people. She can mobilize resources. She has networks, and this is what I think she can bring into anything.
Come back to you once we get you back. Yes. Let's just cross over to Wakili Amondi. Wakili, very, very quickly, the same question. Strength that Governor Waiguru would bring into the DP's camp. What do you make of that? Do you think she can come with the entire central part of Kenya?
Of course, like I said, it's still too early. Time will tell. But of course, given our history, we know Governor Waiguru to be someone who is a grassroots organizer, someone who is forceful, someone who can very well explain whatever she believes in forcefully and in a manner in which people understand. Of course, there would also be the question of then having a first, female deputy president, which will be unique. I don't know to what extent the idea will gel easily in Central. Of course, there is also the question of, where she comes from, Kirinyaga. Rather than, if you're talking of, if you're looking at the gubernatorial aspect of it, there's we have the Girishis of this world. If you're looking at it from the context of the national, remember there's a question of Martha Karua and the role that he may then play subsequently within the handshake team, so that we'll have to look at it vis-a-vis that arrangement. Yeah. But be it as it may, I still really do not think that she can, as it were, galvanize the entire Central Province region. As it so far, I think it's so much about Kirinyaga. My take in terms of Central Province is that in the end of the day, after what is being described as, is it the Limuru 3 conference, when the so-called elders will make a decision, and then I want to believe, the who is who within the region will then give their stand. It is after that moment then when we will be in a position to authoritatively state that this is the direction that Central Province will take, and that if that decision will be anti-Waiguru, then she will really be in a position to galvanize so much for the DP. But still, time will tell. I think it's too early. It's still
all right. Yeah, absolutely. Time will tell. Hamisi, many people did not see this coming, right?
Yes. One of the things is some of us saw something is coming. In fact, we were not. If I was asked where will Anne Waiguru go, I wouldn't have said UDA. I saw it coming. I saw some friction because of the factors that Brother Amondi has said. One, Kirinyaga is hot seat. Iron Lady is there. The other lady is also there. The other gentlemen who are strong are also there. So to be able to make a move in that county, you have to be also a very strong person. So Anne is one of them. But then you in Central, we call it mountain. The mountain has owners. You can even see that the president said, go out there and advise me. You need that team to be able to highlight, because don't underestimate the mountain team. The direction that they propose will have more weight. You may not have everybody with you, but you will have more weight in terms of your. So, and also the presidency, the president himself has weight apart from the leadership of the mountain. Where does the president right now stand in terms of the movement of Anne Waiguru, one of the senior members of his party? We have that angle. So as my brother said, it's too early, and in politics, one day is long enough to defect and to defect back.
Let me ask you, Hamisi. Now that we, Bishi woman representative, talk of the Iron Lady, that is Honorable Martha Karua, and now we have Anne Waiguru on this end. Just to ask that kind of move, would it be just to say that probably she was not feeling much comfortable in the Jubilee Party, now to for a softer landing for the nomination, because somebody might say that her move had been quite suspect of late?
Yes, and that is what we were wondering. We were wondering, Madam Ngirichi was going to come through UDA ticket. That's what we thought. And Madam Karua has her own party, so she was coming straight. But if there's another person who would come from Jubilee, there would be that nomination, and that can startle your movement. The earlier, you see, if you read widely, look at the mountain said, we are coming with our party. If you want us, we are coming with our party. There's that fear that if we go to nomination, people can mobilize and to push you out that you don't for election. So that's very strategic in their movement. You'd rather beat me in the ballot than at nomination. Nomination is a very bad thing, especially in an area where people can mobilize forces to come and not even you can hire people to come and nominate you, denominate you, whatever it is, so that you don't go to the ballot. So I think you're right. It may be a strategy to find her in the ballot finally, and then the decision will be made by the people of Kirinyaga. But still, that decision to me is quite hard. It's quite hard. I can see that if the mountain mobilizes and they make a decision of what we think they will make, some of us are reading between the lines, then the ground will be hotter. And the voice of the people will be even louder. That's why I'm saying I think the deputy president he saw that the team is not strong enough to mobilize what he thought would mobilize for his party.
Let's just after the ballot to evade the nomination process. Of course, it's going to be one of the hotly contested election come next year. But then now we have got the Ngirishi here, we have got Martha Karua on that end, and now we soft way of evading the nomination process, that perhaps she could not even be running for the top seat or the running mate of the deputy president. Ken?
Victor, I think, like I was saying, Anne Waiguru found us in a precarious situation. Bear in mind that there is a lady who ordinarily was used to having a way. We have always associated her with power, right from the days when she was a cabinet secretary, and when she became a governor who was seen to be one of the movers and shakers, one of the governors who was really things, looking at it from a power perspective. And then suddenly she finds herself in a scenario where, she has this EACC looking for her, but in a fashion that she feels is, being pushed by force beyond her control. Suddenly, she finds herself in a situation where, in a presidential function that is at Kirinyaga Stadium, she is not even in control in terms of the is not really part and parcel of the process. Suddenly, she finds herself in a scenario where, within the system, and she had these issues with the PS in terms of certain projects within Kirinyaga. So that I tend to feel that this is a person who, therefore, given the fact that she knows how things move within the system, she was, I might really lose it all in the end of the day when I'm in Jubilee. Why? Because within the framework of Jubilee and the nominations, and knowing what happened even within the same party in the last elections, if you are not with the powers that be, of course, it knows the consequences. Secondly, from within the national perspective, the question of the being a deputy president from within the handshake system, given the fact that she was not reading the same books with those who seem to be the guys that are calling the shots. You see, a person who therefore really wanted to get her own space and probably even send a message that, look, I can also exert myself outside here, especially if I get a place where I'm appreciated. So that I tend to think that's what really informed her moves to the UDA. I'm really not convinced that it was so much about, like she said, what the ground says, where the ground is heading to. It's so much about the fact that she finds herself in a place that she's not ordinarily used to, and now a situation where the Ngirishis of this world seem to be even calling the shots within Kirinyaga, so that it's a scenario where Ngirishi might as well contest and get the ticket from the president's party. And again, you're not sure of anything from within the national perspective, because the PS are amongst the fellas that are calling the shots. So that meant for her, I want to believe, in the interim, and not really because that is the best move that she would have felt, but circumstantially, I want to believe she was forced to make the move that she made, so that she sends a signal nationally, because when Anne Waiguru defects, it's news all over. It's being discussed over, and in politics, I mean, if you can have the entire world discussing you countrywide, then that is a plus. Of course, you can still make another move and effect, and there will always be good excuses for doing that. But for now, I honestly believe that those circumstances are what caused Anne Waiguru to make the move that she made. It's not so much about what the ground really says, because she knows that the ground in Mount Kenya, it's still too early. The owners have not spoken, but when they speak, it shall definitely move mountains.
All right, Ken, allow me to, as your parting shot, because we're running out of time, as we come to Hamisi. Hamisi, it is now over, and it's now obvious that she's now in UDA. So perhaps we can say that Honorable Ngirishi will have it easy during the nomination process, and it will be a hard nut to crack in Kirinyaga County, so to speak, come next year.
Yes and no, because I'm told there are other candidates that have not come out. I hear a name of a PS has been thrown into the ring. And when you say a PS is somebody from the system, so Madam Grich may still have a big mountain to climb in terms of fighting, but at least also she'll have two things now. Is she going to remain in UDA for the nomination?
Yeah.
Or then when she comes, is she going to move to Jubilee and then face another nomination? So that is also another challenge. This is what I'm saying. Madam Anne has not gone permanently. I can see. And
okay.
The caliber, the caliber that would see mountain moving. But she just went with how many MCAs? I'm just warning. I'm not gone. I'm still. This is my.
That's interesting. That's interesting that she's just there temporarily.
Language was used. I'm now here. That is not the Anne Waiguru we know. The Anne Waiguru would have gone to that platform with the vigor and vitality. I use the language of the energy. She didn't that. She's coming back.
I think we just have to leave it at that. Maybe you can give me a split so that I can give them an outro. Thank you. That is Hamisi Mboga, who is been speaking to us via Zoom, as well as Wakili Ken Amondi from Kisumu. We have been focusing more on Anne Waiguru. She did come from Jubilee Party yesterday, and now to the UDA. We're just trying to understand what are some of the political ramifications, what she's standing to lose or gain, actually, as per that move, as far as that move is concerned, and come 2022. Is she the DP's secret pick as his running mate? Okay, we are waiting to see how it will unfold. As Amit said, perhaps that was just a temporary move. As we always say, in politics, there are no permanent enemies, there are no permanent friends. Anything can happen. Now, let's take a break, and we come back. Jane Wamboi has got an interesting debate for you. What am I talking about? No, I'm not going to tell you. Wait for Jane. She's coming here with a hot debate. Stick around.